Oh, yeah. What's up, Eagles Nation's fans, and welcome to the Fan Cave, where it doesn't matter where you live as long as Eagle pride is what you give. I'm your host, OGB, and you know the deal. It's time to get real. You see the ticker at the bottom of the page, so you know what time it is. It's time to show one more video. Please like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell as we get ready to share some more about the best team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. I have to say this. There's been so much talk about rankings. They rank the running backs. Everything's a ranking. But listen, I have to say this. With regards to our quarterback has not been ranked in a way that I think is respectful or even accurate. I think Jalen Hurts has not been given the proper respect, and they have played down on his abilities, saying that he doesn't have physical ability, that they are not sure he has physical ability, but that he has the intangibles. Listen, this young man has been born to play football. This young man is a football player from the word go. He's a leader. He's a leader and a football player. It's not all that he is, but that's what he is for right now. And I want to talk about this ranking, my ranking. I'm not going to try to be very long, but I need to be thorough because everything is going to be looked at in light of our Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to be talking about everything with regard to our Philadelphia Eagles. So listen, this top 20 that I have, I'm going to start at 20 and work my way through and then try to elaborate on a little statistics about each one and a little feedback that I might have concerning each player and why I rank them where they are. Number 20 is Trevor Lawrence. Now I know some people may have a problem because they're saying that this guy is such a generational talent. Well, I haven't seen it. They blame it on the coach, and they blame it on the coach that I believe was Urban Meyer, that was there, that he wasn't an adequate coach. Okay, this guy won national championships, but now he's not an adequate coach, whatever. But the bottom line is Jalen Hurts, his first-year coach is not taken into consideration when he is ranked. But we're supposed to take in consideration Trevor Lawrence's. Trevor Lawrence has yards per game, passing yards per game, is 214.2, with a passer rating of 59.6, so 60%, good passer rating. 2.8 interception percentage. He rushed for 334 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, they talk about that, he needed some wideouts. He didn't have a really good wideouts to throw to. Well, they signed Christian Kirk to a 4-year, $72 million contract. I think that's a bit much for Christian Kirk because I think at best he's a number 2, at worst a number 3. But they've given him the money. I'm not mad at him. So we'll see what Trevor Lawrence is able to do. He is good. I think he's going to be better than he was last year. But I don't think personally don't think he's better than our quarterback in Philadelphia. Number 19, Matt Jones. Matt Jones is the New England Patriots quarterback who averaged per game passing 223.6 yards, 67.6 passer rating, and his interception percentage was 1.8, 212 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown. Now, he has one of our ex-players. He has Nelson Aguilar, and some people have put down Aguilar. Well, listen, all I know is he's got a Super Bowl ring. That's all I know. Ty Montgomery, who's an ex-Packer, and they've got Devontae Parker. So I'm not mad at them. They're doing. I think that they've got an adequate set of receivers, and I think that Matt Jones is going to do well this year. But again, I don't think he's going to be better than our quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Number 18 is Carson Wentz for the Washington Commanders. Carson Wentz threw for 209.6 yards per game, a 62.4 passer rating with a 1.4 interception percentage. He rushed for 212 yards and 1 touchdown. Listen, I think McLaurin is a really good wideout, one of the top wideouts in the NFL. So that's going to definitely be a plus for Carson Wentz. But the thing is this, cut and dry, Carson Wentz is the problem. Well, if anybody know Carson Wentz, it's Philadelphia Eagle fans. We know what you're going to get when you get Carson Wentz. He showed it last year, and he showed it with us. He's not the kind of person that's going to compete for situations. He's not going to compete for his position. He needs to be guaranteed a position. He needs to know that he's the man, because he's not a competitor. And I can't see him being a competitor. If he can't compete against those on his own team for the positions, I can't see him being the type of competitor that's going to compete with the quarterback that's on the other side of the field. I don't think that Carson Wentz, I think he's an upgrade. I definitely think he's an upgrade to what the Commanders had last year. I do. And to be honest, Carson Wentz didn't have a bad season last year, except when it counted, toward the end. When it comes crunch time, Carson Wentz doesn't show up. He doesn't show up. He didn't show up for us. He didn't show up for the Colts. He won't show up for the Commanders. All right, number 17. Number 17, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was at 209.6 yards per game. He passed at had a passer rating of 61.3, 2.1 interception percentage, rushed for 784 yards and 10 touchdowns. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. When we look at a quarterback, we have to look at the totality of what a quarterback is entailed, especially in this day and age of the NFL. Listen, defenses are gauging up for pocket passing quarterbacks. What we're seeing more and more is teams are drafting edge rushers, and they're asking their linebackers to be edge rushers. And so you need a quarterback that can move within the pocket, but not just move within the pocket, but to escape the pocket and get productive yards if necessary. No one's done it better last year than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, 784 yards of rushing, ranked him up there with running backs. He was the highest rated quarterback to be rated within the running backs, as far as when we look at his ability to run the ball. But yes, okay, granted, Jalen Hurts should not have to run for 700 yards. I think that probably half of that, if not a third of that. But if those yards that he would diminish could be converted over to his passing yards, I believe that we'll have some quarterback, some really, really good quarterback. If you look at the number of drops that he had over 20 drops last year. Some of those were touchdowns that were dropped. So sure, he had 16 touchdowns, but there were a lot of those touchdowns. He had a lot of drops, but some of those were touchdowns that should have been caught. And we know that every quarterback goes through it, but the bottom line is this is our quarterback. But the bottom line is he's added, I think, to the receiving core. I think is one of the most talented in the NFL. You got Dallas Goedert, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you've got Quez Watkins, and you have Miles Sanders, and you have Gladwell, and you have Boston Scott. I mean, these guys are not just runners. Some of these are running backs, but they are pass catchers out of their backfield as well. I'm saying that the Philadelphia Eagles offense should be very, very difficult to handle, because they can run the ball. And listen, Miles Sanders, I know he's got a chip on his shoulder. First of all, this is a contract year. It's either make it or break it this year. He gets hurt too much, right? We know that. But at the same token, when he is at his top of his game, he's a premier back in the league. And I'm hoping and I believe that he knows that he's got to perform and stay on the field this year. I believe that he's preparing to do just that. I'm glad to see Gladwell. I think Gladwell is it needs to get more touches. I think that his ability to both run and catch is something that we didn't take as much opportunity as we could have. He had, I believe, 5 touchdowns last year. He had more than Miles Sanders, but most of his touches came from pass catching. He has good hands. I really like him a lot. I like what we got in Philly. And so, yes, okay, he's 17, but I don't think that he's legitimate 17 for this coming year. I'm saying by the end of this year, he's going to be within close to the top 10 quarterbacks. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts is going to probably be around 11 or 12 by the end of the year as far as quarterback rating. Okay, so number 16. Let's move on to number 16. Jimmy Garoppolo, who passed at a 254-yard clip per game, 68.3 passer rating. He had a 2.6 interception rate percentage, which is kind of high. He rushed for 51 yards and 3 touchdowns. I believe that what made Jimmy Garoppolo is Deebo Sanders and Brandon Ayuk. These were top-notch wide receivers. These wide receivers are they are probably some of the leaders of yards after the catch, because these guys are beasts after they get the ball. So they're the ones that really put a stamp on Jimmy Garoppolo's year last year. But I will say this: Jimmy Garoppolo is a game manager. He can manage the game. You can't depend on him to win the game, but he's not going to lose it for you. He's going to need other people. He's going to be dependent on other people to do things in order for him to be functional. A game manager is not a bad thing to have. He's not a game manager. I mean, when we look at it, a few years back when Ray Lewis was playing, the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl with a game managing quarterback. So it can be done. So the thing with Jimmy Garoppolo is that there's going to be a challenge this year. I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain his position as the starting quarterback. I don't know if it's going to happen. So we'll see. I forget the young man's name that's looking to challenge him for the starting position, but I don't think that it's going to be Garoppolo. I don't know if Garoppolo will even be on the roster by the time the season starts. Number 15 is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins averaged 263.8 yards passing per game at a 66.3 passer rating, 1.2 INT percentage, 115 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown. Well, we can say this about him without a shadow of doubt, is that Justin Jefferson helped make him and gave him the year that he had this past year. And that not only that, but Adam Thielen is also a big threat. These two wideouts give them a very appropriate and very skillful wide receiver tandem. And not to mention, Dalvin Cook is a running back, is a beast in the backfield, which also allowed for play action to work because of the running game. It's important that you have an adequate running game to offset that passing game for the play action to work. All right. Next, that was number 15. Number 14, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, 233.4 yards per game, 67% passer rating, 2.1 interception rate, 82 yards rushing, and 1 rushing touchdown. Listen, he led the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl, and they would have won it if they just kept the same formula the second half that they did the second half. Excuse me, the first half. They were running the ball and they were effective. But no, they wanted to change it up and make sure that Matt Ryan was going to be the hero, and they started trying to run the ball passing the ball, and as a result, lost the game. The bottom line is Matt Ryan's over the hill. Matt Ryan is going to a good team in the Colts, but the bottom line is he's on the downside of his career. I think the best years are behind Matt Ryan. I don't think that he has that kind of year or that kind of talent letting him to take them to the Super Bowl. I really don't believe that. A good set of wideouts, but I don't think the talent is there. Okay, the next one is 13 is Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill's 233.4 yards per game, 67.2 passer rating, 2.6 interception percentage, 270 yards rushing and 7 rushing touchdowns. Listen, the biggest thing there is that he lost, I think, the premier weapon that he had, and he's come to us, and that's A.J. Brown. I believe A.J. Brown made a difference for them last year, and because of that, they're not going to have. He's not going to have the same numbers. He's not going to have the same passer rating, or he won't have the same amount. I think he'll have less yards per game than he did last year. So I don't think that by the end of the year that he'll be the 13th ranked quarterback in the NFL. Number 12 is Derek Carr, 282.6 yards per game, 68.4 passer rating, 1.7 interception percentage, 146 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown rushing. Okay, so the bottom line when we talk about Derek Carr, he got some more weapons. He really received some more weapons. Devontae Adams, I believe, is going to can help them. But I think the thing about this is about Derek Carr. I think that Derek Carr is not. I just think he's a dude. I don't think that he's the guy. I think he's just a dude that can manage, but he doesn't manage well when the spotlight's on. He kind of reminds me of Kirk Cousins. He doesn't have that ability to shine when he really needs to, and he needs to show up. But he's got talent. He got DeMarcus Robinson, and he even got one of our old Eagle teammates, Matt Hollins, on the team. But the bottom line is, I don't think that they have what it takes to move any further than probably. I don't know even if they'll take their division. Maybe we'll see. Number 11, Dak Prescott, 278.1 yards per game, 68.8 passer rating, 1.7 interception percentage, 146 yards rushing, and 1 rushing touchdown. Well, I think what's going to help or hurt them is losing Amari Cooper. I mean, you can't get around that. You can't replace that player. Made Dak Prescott's life easier. We all know that, and I think if most Dallas Cowboys fans would be honest, they would know it too. But now you got CeeDee Lamb thrust into the number 1. Everybody says that he is the number 1. Well, I don't. We'll see, because the bottom line is Cooper was the number 1, and that he had number 1 attention given to him, and CeeDee Lamb didn't. So if there was going to be double coverage, it wasn't going to be CeeDee Lamb. It was going to be Amari Cooper. But this year, CeeDee Lamb's going to get the double coverage. So we'll see what happens. Diggs got 11 interceptions. Will he be able to duplicate that? I don't think so. So everybody says that this team is going to do some great things this year. I don't see it. I really don't see it. The linebacker, his name leaves me right now, but the linebacker, I mean, okay, he had 10 sacks. Can he get 10 sacks again this year? We'll see. I don't think so, because I think that most of the teams are going to prepare for him and prepare differently for him this year than they did last year. Okay, number 10. We're getting up to the top 10 quarterbacks now. Number 10 is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray averaged 270.5 yards per game, 69% passer rating, 2.1 interception ratio percentage, which I think is really high, 424 yards rushing and 5 rushing touchdowns. The problem with him is this: DeAndre Hopkins. He won't be there for the first 5-6 games. That's going to be a problem, because normally the Cardinals start quick. They start quick. They play well earlier in the season. I don't know. I think a lot of that had to do with DeAndre Hopkins. He's not going to be there for the first 5 games. So I don't think that they're going to have the start that they've been accustomed to. So it's going to be a slower start for them. Now, here's the thing that I think about a lot of these quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence, Jason Hurts, Ryan Tannehill to a lesser degree, Kyler Murray, and some of the others that I'm going to mention, is that I think there's a new breed of quarterback coming into the league. I think there's a transformation taking place. And this transformation has to do with a quarterback that not only can throw from the pocket, but one that can use their feet and their legs, because these defenses are putting in, as I said earlier, edge rushers and blitzing linebackers like never before, and blitzing schemes that's going to require a quarterback to be able to use his legs, to whether to move the pocket or to leave the pocket when necessary. So sure, some of these older quarterbacks have been able to be pocket passers, but I think the league is changing because defenses are changing, and I think we're going to see it to an even greater degree because this year at the top of the draft, you saw a lot of edge rushers being brought into the league. I think that's going to have a lot of bearing on the type of quarterbacks that's going to shine this year. And it's going to not be the pocket passer, but it's going to be the mobile quarterback. Everybody thinks that, okay, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are the top of the game, but the real truth of the matter is they're on the way down. I know they're still doing well, but they are the old breed. They're the old breed. The new breed is going to be a much more daring, much more able to use their legs, and you're going to see a change gradually in the type of quarterbacking that's going to take place. And now I'll mention that more as I go on. So Kyler is one of those kind of quarterbacks, I think, that's going to be one of those game changers, and he is a game changer with 423 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. Says he can use his legs when he needs to as well. All right, another number 9. Number 9 is another quarterback that fits this particular mold, and in my opinion, probably is one of the forerunners of it. In this age, at least, there were those that preceded him, like Michael Vick, but I'm talking about Lamar Jackson for the Ravens, who only played 12 games, and I believe that if he'd have played all 17 games, he probably would have led the league in rushing, and not Jalen Hurts, because with 12 games he rushed for 767 yards, which is a few yards shorter than Jalen Hurts. But speaking of Jackson, 240 yards passing per game, a 64.4 passer rating, 3.4 interception ratio or percentage. That's the problem with Jackson. Jackson, I believe, has problems with his accuracy. He can put the ball out there and have you go get it, but I'm not sure how he has the ability, the necessary requisite skills to put it in, to fit it in tight windows. I don't, but hey, we'll see, because he lost Hollywood Brown this year. But the thing with Hollywood Brown, he was that go get it guy, just like Deshaun Jackson. He's not a skilled pattern runner. He doesn't run patterns, but he's able to go get it. But we'll see. I think that the Ravens have drafted well this year, really well, especially on the defensive line side of the ball. So I think the Ravens are going to be something to deal with. They need to really deal with Lamar Jackson's contract. He needs to be given the requisite money that he deserves as a person who was the MVP of the league. So I think that it's not I think that they are trying to lowball him, and Jackson represents himself, and actually his mother represents him. And I think that he's not going to sit down. I don't even know if he's going to go. I don't think he's went to the OTAs. I don't think he's going to any offseason workouts or anything like that. They're going to have to pay this man, and you should pay him. Okay, he's number 9. He's number 9. Number 8 fits into that pattern that I just mentioned of this new breed of quarterback, and that's Justin Herbert, 294.9 yards per game, a 65.9 passer rating, 2.2 interception percentage, kind of high there. I think this gunslinger mentality can get him into trouble sometimes, and he tries to fit the ball in the places that he probably shouldn't sometimes. And I'd rather have that. That's a Brett Favre kind of mentality. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you at all. But here's another thing that he's able to do: run the ball, 302 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. So he can do what he needs to do when he needs to do it. I think this is a good quarterback. I think this is a quarterback of the future. But here's the thing with Herbert. Herbert can be a Dan Marino type. You can have all the numbers that you want, but not win. And so that's what I see with Herbert. Herbert's got to show that he can win. He can win the big game, and he can come through in the clutch situation. He hasn't done that yet. He hasn't done that. He hasn't taken his team to a playoff game. He hasn't done that yet. Jalen Hurts has taken his team to the playoffs the first year that he started as a quarterback. Somebody would say, oh, okay, well, look at the NFC least. Well, all he can do is do what is put in front of him. Play the games that are put in front of you by the league. He didn't make the schedule. The league makes the schedule. And so if he's taking his team to the playoffs with the schedule that they had, oh well. And the fact still remains, Herbert has not done it. Okay, so he's number 8. Number 7 is Russell Wilson. Now, Russell Wilson, he's 222.4 yards per game, 64.8 passer rating, 1.5 interception rating, 183 yards rushing, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, here's the thing. Russell has changed teams. Left Seattle and has gone to Denver. 2 different climates. It's a lot colder in Denver. So we'll see if he can handle that weather, for one thing. But I will say this. I think because of that, that's going to be a difference. He's changed teams, changed climate, changed systems, changed head coach. There's a lot of changes. Changed the league, changed the conference. He's going to be in that conference where there are a lot of good quarterbacking. There's a lot. He's going to be up. He's going to be playing 2 times a year some of the top-rated young quarterbacks in the league. So I think that's going to. I want to see his competitiveness. I want to see if he has what it takes to compete against some of those. I believe it's the AFC East. I think I'm not totally sure, but I think it's the AFC East, but or West. But the bottom line is these quarterbacks that are in his division are the quarterbacks that are up and coming. So he's going to need to be able to show his self-worthy. He has Judy in the as a wideout. I think is one of the top ones in the league. He has one of our old wideouts, Travis Fulgham out there, KJ Handler, and Cortland Sutton as wideouts as well. So we'll see how it goes for him. But I think one of the things that, not only does he have some distractions on the field, but distractions off the field. When he was playing for Seattle for the most part of his career, when he was really focused in, he was single. He wasn't married. He didn't have Sierra. Now listen, I ain't mad at him. Sierra is fine. So the bottom line is, yeah, I can understand him having a distraction. And the distraction is he's doing more modeling and he's doing more photos with Sierra and promoting and pumping Sierra that I don't know if he's doing the things he needs to do for his football career. I know he can't be putting as much attention as he did in the past because he's got more attention on Sierra and the family. I get it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing, but I'm saying that I think that it will get in the way of him being the old Russell Wilson that he was in the past. But we'll see. I wish him the best. But because I tell you, I if you're not on IG with Sierra, you need to be. Okay. All right. So number six is Matthew Stafford, the Super Bowl winning quarterback who won the MVP for the Super Bowl, who was a first-year starter at the LA Rams, who showed and set a precedence for some of these quarterbacks to make moves and that they can make moves and make a big difference. He did it. If he did it, then why can't Russell Wilson? We'll see. Now, when it comes to Matthew Stafford, he at his 287.4 yards per game, 67.2% passer rating, 2.8 interception rate percentage, 43 yards rushing, and no rushing touchdowns. Look, he's a pocket passer. He's one of the old guard. He's one of the old guard. And I think if it wasn't for Cooper Kupp, who had a career year, which I don't think he's going to be able to duplicate this year. I really don't think he will. He's Allen Robinson, and I'm not sure if they're going to bring back OBJ. I don't know if they're going to bring back OBJ, but the bottom line is, if OBJ didn't go out of the Super Bowl, he would have been the MVP. He would have been the MVP. He was playing MVP lights out style at the Super Bowl. I don't know who's going to get OBJ, but I would say it's probably going to be a contender. Someone like KC would get with, or Green Bay could use him. All right, so when we talk about Stafford, I think he's one of them, the old guard. He's got a rifle for an arm. He's got a rifle for the arm. The interception ratio or percentage is very high, almost 3. He throws, again, he's one of those kind that tries to fit balls into tight spaces, and sometimes it doesn't work, but it doesn't stop him. He's going to continue. He's got that Brett Favre mentality. And so I think that I don't believe that the Rams will repeat. I don't believe that they will do that, especially because OBJ's not there. I don't think that their defensive line will have the same kind of year that they had last year. I just don't think the team they caught fire at the right time, and they don't have the defensive end. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. That wears the glasses, but I see his face. But he's moved on, which made a difference as well. So I mean, I really don't think that this team is going to have the same kind of because the defense, I think, made a difference for this team last year. So I don't think it's going to be the same. Okay, moving on. Moving to this top 5, I think has a lot to do with this new changing of the new guard that's coming into the league, and it's beginning to show himself as the premier passes in the new NFL. Number 5 is Josh Allen, 259.2 yards passing per game, 63.3 passer rating, 2.3 interception percentage, 763 rushing yards, and 6 rushing touchdowns. Listen, this guy here, in my opinion, is probably this year is going to probably be, by the end of the year, one or two top quarterbacks in the league, behind Jalen Hurts. No, but seriously, this guy here is the truth. This guy can, and he's the prototypical new age quarterback that's coming in the league. The one that can run and pass from the pocket, pass from outside the pocket, and able to run for 763 yards and 6 touchdowns. This guy is the truth. So it's he's got Stephon Diggs, he's got Jamison Crowder, he got some good wideouts that's going to go get the ball for him, and so I think Josh Allen is what the typical quarterback that's the new generation quarterback that's not just a pocket passer, and so I think that he's going to be a real threat this year in the AFC. Number four is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl, had a tremendous year last year. I need to see more because the year before he got hurt and he didn't have a good year, and it seemed to just catch fire after he got Lamar Chase. Lamar Chase was the difference maker. They want to give Joe Burrow the credit, but the difference maker was Lamar Chase. Come on now, if for real. And T. Higgins. Look at that, man. Listen. Though that tandem of wideouts is premier. These are top wideouts. Top wideouts. At least they showed that themselves to be that last year. So whether they do it again this year, I don't think so. I don't think that Lamar Chase is going to have the year that he had last year. I don't. I think that he's going to have a good year, but I don't think he's going to have the year he had last year. I think teams are going to prepare for him more in depthly this year. I think they're going to look at his strengths and weaknesses. They're going to do a SWOT analysis on him and better analyze his weaknesses and see how they can do things differently with him. But that he is another example of a quarterback that's different. Even though he only ran for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, I think he's still 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. I still think that he has the ability to run if he has to. I believe he has that ability. Okay, number three, Patrick Mahomes, 284 yards per game, 66.3 passer rating, 2.0 interception percentage, 381 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns by rushing. So look, listen, the thing that's going to hurt them is them losing the cheetah. I don't care what nobody says. Losing the cheetah is going to make a difference. Why they didn't? Well, anyway, I believe the cheetah went after the Bucs. I don't blame him. But the bottom line is, being that they've got Juju Schuster, Juju is not the cheetah. He runs better pass patterns. I'm sure he can do that, and he's not even good at that. He's okay. But the bottom line is the wideouts they lost. They also lost Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's another one that they've lost. They've lost wideouts that I think that made a difference for them last year. So it's going to take some new guys stepping up. We'll see who they are stepping up for Pat Mahomes. I don't think that he's going to finish that high this year. I don't think he'll finish number 3. I think that I don't think that he's going to do as well as he did last year this coming season. Number 2 is the GOAT, Tom Brady, 312.7 yards passing per game, 66.5 passer rating. 67.5 passer rating, 1.7 interception rating percentage, 81 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Well, he's got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They've got him. Tom Brady he's the GOAT. And what else can you say? He is the old guard, though. He is the old guard. And I think that when Tom Brady, it's going to be one of those declines. It's going to be kind of off the edge of the cliff kinds of things. It's going to be he's going to be good, and then he's going to stink all of a sudden really, really bad. And it's going to because he'll be done because everything is going to catch up with him at one time. So I think that's going to happen. It may not happen this year, but I think that's what's going to eventually happen if he doesn't get out of the game before it happens. I believe he's the GOAT. What else can you say? But I do stick to my premise that the old guard is about through. I believe Tom Brady and number one is Aaron Rodgers, who is also the old guard. I believe that he will not be number 1 this year, and I'll say why in a minute. 254.2 yards passing per game, 68.9% passer rating, 0.8 interception ratio percentage, 101 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. Listen, this guy, and he hasn't thrown 5 interceptions in 5 years. I mean, this guy throws the ball so well. I mean, it's incredible. But a lot of what we fail to realize is the quarterback's accuracy has a lot to do with whoever catches the ball. Devontae Adams is gone. Devontae Adams is gone to Las Vegas. He's going to play with his college teammate, Derek Carr. And this is the reason why. Because Aaron Rodgers took all the money. He didn't want to leave no money for nobody. At least Tom Brady leaves money on the table for people because he understands that he needs to have people around him, and he understands the importance of the players around him. But evidently, Aaron doesn't see it that way. He takes everything for himself. So he's lost players. And so I dare say that there's going to be more interceptions this year. There's going to be a lot lesser passer rating this year. And there's going to be less yards per game this year. he won't be number one this year. He won't be the number one rated quarterback this year, but he is as the season starts. He is right now. Now, so that's my 20. But I want to mention a couple guys. Jameis Winston, I think, who only played 7 games. I think that, I think it was the ACL that took him out in week 8 against the Bucks. But he was serving up the Bucks last year. I mean, Winston was having a good season before he got hurt. So I'm looking at him to do some things. I think that he's going to be in the top 20 by the end of the year if he doesn't get hurt again, if he can recover. But being at ACL, I don't know. We'll see, because he also had, I think, a torn meniscus before that. I don't know I think it was the year before. I'm not sure. But he's been hurt, and he's getting older. We'll see. I think he's a member of that old guard too, where I don't think he can run the ball as prolifically as some of the others. And then we've got Deshaun Watson, who now has inherited Amari Cooper from Dallas. So we'll see. We don't know. We don't even know when he's going to play. We don't know what the penalty is going to be by the league. So I can't put him in the top 20, but I do recognize him as a talent. So we'll see what happens once he starts playing. But the bottom line is, we don't know when that is. But anyway, this is OGP, and I just want you to help me out by like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell for this new channel, Eagles Nation Fan Cave. And I'm your host, OGP. And all I want to say is, it's the Eagles, and we are flying high. Fly, Eagles, fly. And we're going to do some things. 13-4 this year. This is OGP, and I'm out.